Hello and welcome to another eCommerce podcast. Today I'm talking to Yuriy from Front Row, which is an e-commerce accelerator. And Yuriy, it's so great to have you on the show. Please kindly introduce yourself.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Norbert. My name is Yuriy Boykiv. I'm a CEO of Front Row. We are an e-commerce catalyst working predominantly with beauty, wellness, and CPG brands, helping them accelerate their growth in a variety of e-commerce channels. We started with Amazon, which is the largest channel for a lot of our brands, but then we expanded to Walmart.com and recently TikTok Shop. And we help those brands with everything from strategy to creative to content to media, logistics, operations, brand health, and a variety of other solutions that help brands maximize their value in the e-commerce ecosystem.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's short and on the point. I love that. Thank you so much, Yuriy. To kick it off, tell us a bit about yourself. I mean, how did you land in this e-commerce world?
Sure. I'm originally from Ukraine, but I've lived in the US for the last 23 years. The world of e-commerce has always fascinated me, but I originally come from the world of marketing and advertising. I had my own ad agency called Gravity Media, which I sold to Dentsu, which is a large holding company in Japan. Spent 4.5 years on the corporate side. And then I was recruited by Front Row Group, which used to be called Fortress Brand. And then we acquired 4 other agencies with different complementary capabilities, put it all together. And I've been running this company for almost 2 years now. So it's been phenomenal so far.
Phenomenal. Yeah, absolutely. You name it. I mean, you have seen a lot in the e-commerce landscape. I mean, how do you see the landscape evolve, particularly in context of consumer behavior and expectations?
A lot of people think about e-commerce as a constant that's growing, but it has a lot of iterations. I think about it as the world of retail a little bit because a lot of transactions might not end at your doorstep, but they start at the screen. And if you look at Generation Alpha, for instance, which is it's going to be the biggest generation in the history of humanity. It's going to be 2 billion people. And I'm talking about people born in 2010 and 2024. Almost 80% of them start their journey on that phone or some kind of device. So obviously attention is there. The question is, will the purchase happen there? And if it does, how the product will be delivered? So I think the next phase of evolution will be mobile first, device first, delivery second. And I think discovery of the product will happen more and more online, but the purchase of the product may happen both online but also offline because people still love that retail experience. So if I'm a brand thinking about where this world is going, I always have to think omnichannel. And how does the world of offline, which is retail, traditional retail, and the world of online correlate?
I think it's very interesting. I mean, you're in the US, New York, and here in Europe, actually, it's the same. Yeah, we see more and more that retailers that are not yet online need to go online to have the presence there as well, especially on Amazon and on those marketplaces that are maybe local marketplaces and local marketplace heroes. But of course, as in the US, the most consumers start their shopping journey on Amazon. How should brands adopt their strategies to capitalize on this trend without just relying on one single platform?
Yeah. So half of our team is in the US and half of our team is in Europe. We have about 400 people in the company. Very familiar with the European market. I think that in the US, about 45%, about half of consumers start e-commerce journey on Amazon. But the thing is that what drives them to Amazon is the experience in other retailers, but more than usual, it starts with TikTok. And I think TikTok drives a lot of attention. You're talking about 1 million people who are monthly using TikTok on a daily basis, and 100,000 of them are influencers. So there is a lot of driving of demand that winds up either on the DTC website or winds up on Amazon. One of the interesting stats I've seen is if you look back a few years ago, only about 10% of searchers on Amazon were brand specific. So people would type actual brand name. Today, it's close to 35%. So it's obvious that people learn about the brand from other channels, a lot of times social channels, and then they come to Amazon as a search engine with the e-commerce checkout to buy products. And it also is driven by the fact that Amazon has been, and it's public, Amazon has been driving this idea of everyday purchase by building a very robust distribution network and bringing delivery centers close to the consumers. So they want you to buy often. They want you to get delivery on the same day because that increases velocity of sale. So demand driven by outside platforms and checkout on Amazon is the current formula.
Yeah, and I think that's very interesting because as you told this, I was thinking, did I experience that myself as well already? And yes, I did. I mean, I often see some ads on Facebook. Yeah, I'm old. I still use Facebook or Insta, and and before I go or visit the website where I could purchase the product, I typically also search the product then on Amazon, because if I could get it on Amazon, I would trust Amazon more than going on an unknown web store.
Yeah.
And also on Amazon, you have those most accurate reviews that you really can see and understand. And I think this is really something that might a lot of other people do as well, to check the product first on another channel if they've seen the brand by an influencer. So that's really an interesting fact. But there we are talking mostly about, I think, new products or new brands. What about the typical retail goods that you just get on every store? Should I sell them as well online as a reseller, or is there no chance because the price is already down, or the everyone else is selling it? So what do you recommend those vendors having those average products?
I think there are two relationships one could have with Amazon. One is called 1P, one is 3P. In the 1P relationship, you sell products to Amazon. They decide and negotiate price with you directly. They buy products from you, and then they create a listing, and they make sure that they push the product as much as possible. The thing about this, you don't control the price. So Amazon will discount the price if it finds your product being sold somewhere else cheaper, to make sure that Amazon is the least expensive place to buy a product. So there is some margin dilution happening for the brand. Or you can sell through a 3P relationship where you essentially list on Amazon as a marketplace, and you determine the price, you determine how you look to the outside buyer, you spend money on marketing and push your product, etc. But that requires a lot of skills, right? You need to have somebody who understands advertising on Amazon. You need to have a creative team that creates your content in your listings. You need to update your SKUs. You need to adapt to other languages if you want to sell internationally. You need to have a logistics department, operations, brand health. All of these things come into the ecosystem. So it's really important that you hire a specialist or a group of specialists who help you if you establish brand. If you're just a singular reseller, Amazon has a lot of tools that help you calculate what's the best path for you. You can calculate how much Amazon will charge you for their fee. You can calculate how much it will charge you for the storage, and you can pretty much determine the demand of your products, and it's pretty accurate. So I think as Amazon develops these tools further and adds AI to this, it will become easier and easier to sell on Amazon, but it will not become easier to make money on Amazon.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, everyone else is trying to get on Amazon listed. I mean, the process of getting a vendor on Amazon, for some it's easy, for some it's a bit harder. It's just depending on what you're selling. If you ever try to sell food on Amazon, yeah, that's
hard.
That's a bit harder.
Yes, it's much harder.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay. I mean, are there any other channels beside Amazon that you say, don't forget about that?
Yeah. I mean, if you're a brand that has a very fair price, that's not luxury, I think Walmart.com offers a very good viable option, at least in the US. TikTok Shop has been growing as well. Obviously, it has its own controversies, and nobody knows where it's going to lead. But TikTok Shop has been doing really well, growing double, triple digits in certain markets, and a lot of our brands are testing. And I think the key for that is that you have attention there. You have already people viewing videos, so it's easy for them to check out. And if you properly connect your distribution, whether through your Shopify DTC side or through Amazon even, the products will get delivered in a convenient way. So those are the three prime channels, at least in the US. In other markets, I mean, you have Zalando, you have Douglas for the beauty brands in Europe. In Korea, some of the best players are Coupang, or Coupon as they call it. Coupon is doing really well in Korea. And there are other, obviously, players like in China and Middle East, etc. But I think still Amazon has the lion's share globally.
Yeah, absolutely. What about the owned web store? Is it worth still building an own web store, or would you say no? I think it's better you focus on the marketplace and refer everything to the marketplace. Maybe have a landing page for your product, but then refer to another channel where to purchase it. Or we say, oh well, a store is still a success driver, and you can grow with that.
If you're an established or a brand that's growing, I suggest you have as many channels as possible. So the idea of DTC website, direct-to-consumer website, is not new. And it's actually one of the most direct relationship the brand could have with the customer. Because if the brand distributes through Sephora, Ulta, Walgreens, Amazon, it doesn't have the direct relationship with the customer. But with your own DTC site, you can use it as the product development tool. You can use it as the customer retention tool. You can run different promotions. You can test new products. You can do surveys. And also, if run correctly, it could be very beneficial and generate a lot of demand and generate a lot of revenue. So I highly recommend brands that are scaling to have its own DTC website. It's super easy to establish. You know, Shopify and some other tools give you a lot of flexibility with the way you want to run it. And by the way, if you don't want to do logistics, you just connect to Amazon Buy with Prime, and Amazon will deliver those products to your DTC site.
That's also a nice feature. Absolutely. I mean, that's really an entire machine that you can attach to your small store. Actually, of course, it requires a bit of money to get all this set up and the goods delivered and stored. But actually, we're doing online because we want to sell some goods. That's the case. And I think what do you think, especially with the new AI topics that are raising, how will this change the entire e-commerce market? Will this transform things? Will things change?
I mean, AI is at its birth still. I feel like it's still underutilized in a lot of industries. I think in our industry, what we do at Front Row, we're using it to increase productivity. We use it in some cases to test new listings. So creative team can do more with less and spend more time thinking and ideating rather than just writing. So that helps a lot. We use it for SEO search volume. We use it for internal productivity improvements. Like we have our own intranet where we look through data and people could ask questions about any topic related to e-commerce and they receive predetermined answers. So we build our own inside tool. Amazon is building tool to create listings. I think media bidding will be more and more automated using AI. So your media buyers will spend more time explaining to clients the value proposition, explaining the results, explaining what impacted this campaign or that campaign, rather than manually optimizing campaigns. So I think AI will keep developing that efficiency play for us and effectiveness play. And I think humans will still stay in the creative space and explanation space, which I think is hard to replicate.
Yeah, I think as well. I mean, I've seen a lot of customers using it for product descriptions, but as of now, it's a good suggestion, but it's not finalizing the
Exactly.
job. It's not possible to just use it or do a bulk operation if you really want to have accurate and good data that has a human touch.
Yes.
And I think this will stay for a while. But I've read an interview recently from Elon Musk where he said something like, in 5 years, the AI will be more intelligent than the intelligence person on the planet, or something like that. So will be very, very interesting to follow that path. It will not cost us jobs, I think. It will just change jobs.
It will change jobs. I think it will change jobs. I think in the world of e-commerce, it will make us more efficient and we can spend more time doing what we love. And some of the best campaigns I've seen, and I've spent over 20 years in advertising, are the ones that are unpredictable, right? Because if you think about AI, they tailor to the common denominator, at least today. They're not creating something that's completely different from the expectation. And I think that's where humanity has to come in and provide it. Like even in the Amazon listing, you need to provide a little bit of delicate touch. So the person who is looking for the product can see, oh, wow, now I see how this product is different than all other products, right? Rather than tailoring to everybody else's needs.
Yeah. And it also might have these really creative new ideas because it's only relying on data from the past, and it would discover those good data. And earlier today, I had a call, and we were talking about how Red Bull came up, and how the story and the background story was, and the guy I talked to said, well, and I remember that on those exhibitions where a lot of investors and business people were, they just came and threw empty Red Bull cans into the waste, just that people see they drink a lot of Red Bull. Yeah. And that was also it's marketing, yeah, and it's a great idea. It's actually a great idea, and these are ideas that people have that they want to try and test. And I think also in the e-commerce world, we need some great ideas, new approaches to get our customers buying from us.
Totally. I mean, even if you look at advertising, in order for you to drive a good e-commerce strategy and good e-commerce outcome, you need to be looking at now traditional channels, because Facebook and Google optimize to the common denominator, to the most likely consumer to buy. And if you are a scaled brand over time, that most likely consumer to buy is the consumer who would buy anyway. So you're essentially overpaying for your campaign to the same customer who would buy no matter what.
Yep.
So you need to spread out your wings and go, speaking of Red Bulls, right? And you have to go after customers who have never tried your product. How do you do it? You go through mass media, you go through video, you go through billboards, you go through non-traditional campaigns. You need to create that spark so people can start looking for you, the new people start looking for your product.
What's one of the recent learning or insights that has significantly influenced your approach to e-commerce?
What really changed the way I look at things was the fact that we did a study for one of our clients. We realized that 80% of people who are exposed to our ad on TikTok then go to Amazon and look for the product. So we always thought that, so we always thought, okay, people go to and start Googling it, but only 45% were Googling it, right? So they see it on TikTok, they don't click on the link from TikTok to go to Amazon, but then they start either Google it or go directly to Amazon. So they changed the way we thought about budget allocation. So we're like, okay, instead of like only capturing demand on Amazon, let's go to other channels. Let's expand the way we advertise and bring those people who are just consistently looking for us. And clients started shifting money from Google to TikTok to some extent.
Okay, very interesting. Yeah, that's thinking over 2 or 3 corners. But it's very, very interesting to understand that. And did it work out?
It works, right? Like, so we shifted about three months ago, and now we see the uplift. We're still testing, but we saw the uplift in campaigns when we moved from Google to TikTok. We definitely saw improvement. And also on Google, you're competing with DTC website, right? So like Let's say we represent a client on Amazon exclusively, and then when we bid on Google, we need to coordinate with the client how much traffic goes to the DTC site, how much to Amazon. But when we do it on TikTok, it's so much easier to drive directly to Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, I see a bit of a difference in the demand side. I mean, on Google, you are looking for something when you're advertising, and in Google Shopping, it's presenting a bunch of products that we are maybe looking at because of your search term or questions asked. On TikTok, you're targeting a demography, yeah, or the intent of people that might be interesting. So for me, it's a bit. One thing is I know exactly what I'm looking for, and the other thing is could be maybe interested for. So for me, it's interesting to understand how that evolves.
I don't think it will fully evolve. Like honestly, like you don't go to TikTok to shop. You go to get entertained, right? So, and I think the moment TikTok becomes a shopping engine, that's the moment TikTok starts dying. You don't want to overwhelm people with shopping ads. But I think, and that's the same thing on Amazon. Like Amazon is trying to become also an entertainment engine, which I don't know if it's going to work. But I think if you can connect those two worlds with some data and some analytics and some smart marketing, then you can drive a lot of attention, and you drive that attention into purchase.
Yeah, that could be the case. Absolutely. Do you run also advertising already on those entertainment channels of Amazon, like Prime and Co?
We started testing it, and Amazon gives you a lot of incentives now for our brands to test, because we have over 400 different brands. We represent, I don't know, 120 or 130 on Amazon, running $100 million of their money and our money. So we have a lot of opportunity to test new products. It's still in the beta version, in my opinion. It's still not 100% tested, whether it's working or not. Like, they have an affiliate network. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's okay. Now you can do Prime Video, right? So we tested Prime Video for some of the clients. It doesn't appeal to all the clients because CPM is quite expensive. But again, I think in the future, I think it this way. You watch your Prime Video, you see an ad, and then it automatically pushes through your Amazon once you open your app, right? Because it's on the same Wi-Fi, let's assume you're home or you're at work. So it recognizes you as an individual. So it's on one-to-one basis. It's the most precise targeting you can imagine, right? You just need to figure it out how to do it not too intrusive, which they're trying to, but also at the same time, how to make it cost effective, because paying $30 to $50 CPM, the advertisers who are marketing on Amazon historically have never paid this money, right? They paid it to YouTube, they paid it to TV channels, but never paid it that much to Amazon. So I think there's a little bit of that barrier. Is Amazon a performance-driven e-commerce checkout, or is it a holistic, full-service advertising platform from video to influencers to shopping? And that demands different attention, and it also requires a different CPM structure or cost per acquisition structure. So I think it's still work in progress.
Okay. Wow. Very interesting, really. Is there anything you would have in mind where you say, if I knew that in the past, it would have saved a lot of my time and money? So are there some tips and tricks you would like to give the audience?
I always when I go to clients, I say, please focus on your data, number one, because you sell on so many different channels. You collect so much pieces of data. Like, have one person, one girl or one guy focus just on your data connectivity and work with the agency or whoever you have internally to figure out who's your perfect customer, how does this customer journey start, where does it end, how do you use the data from DTC to quicker checkout on Amazon, how to use data from DTC and amplify your retail media marketing, etc. Because if you're a brand that sells millions on your DTC site, you probably know a lot more about your customers than anybody else. Just a lot of people they either use different people for different channels, or they don't look at data holistically. And I think that is like my one ask to clients or to marketers, start with data.
Okay, Yuriy, last question for today. And it's my usual question. who has taught you the most about e-commerce in your career?
I'm actually learning from a lot of people who work in this company. Most of them have 12 plus years of experience. I'm not the founder of the organization. I'm a CEO, but I work with like 9 founders who founded really different businesses that we bought and became front row. So I feel like I learn every day from junior people of the team to the most senior people on the team. So I still feel like I'm a novice, even though I learned a lot, but it's an everyday adventure, and I enjoy just talking to my folks.
Thank you so much for that answer, and I really love that answer because it's so true. That's e-commerce is still something where we, on everyday basis, we can learn from others, and that's really great. I love that. Thank you so much, and guys, if you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, hit the like button, do whatever you want to do. Enjoy and enjoy the show, and come back for the next episode. Talk soon. Bye bye. And that's it for this episode of the eCom Ops podcast. If you enjoyed listening and would like us find and interview more e-commerce operations experts, please search for eCom Ops podcast in your favorite podcast listening app and then subscribe, rate, and review. Until next time.